Hey guys, it's Sam, and this is my spoiler-free review of The Burning God by RF Kuang. Gad, man, that was very Midwestern. This is the third and final book in the Poppy War trilogy, and this was also one of the books of the two that my Patreon supporters voted on last month. Every month my Patreon supporters get to vote in a poll for a book, maybe more than one, that I'll read and review that month. And this is the one that won. Also, I wanted to finish up this series by the end of the year, so this made me do it sooner rather than later. So if you want to participate in my content in that way, get extra reviews for the reviews that I don't do here, I do them over there. Lots of live stream content over there that's Patreon exclusive, lots of polls, lots of stuff. Go and check that out. So this is a review that I kind of put off. I actually read this book at the beginning of this month, and it feels like it was a lifetime ago. September has been so long. Not personally, I don't know why it feels so long, but literally it feels like I read this 3 months ago. But I actually also, when I was like thinking of my review, felt like I was gonna have a hard time reviewing this in a spoiler-free way. Obviously I'll be doing a discussion as well. But yeah, my thoughts are like, I'll just get into it. They're not conflicted. I didn't think this was a bad book. I don't quite know how to talk about it. So first off, we'll talk about the world building in here. And the world building kind of combines with the characters now. At this point, we're not getting a ton of extra stuff that we didn't already know from the first two books, as far as like the world and what's possible in it. We're getting other like sort of political machination type things, and we're seeing more of the southern part of the world in this book, and then just getting more information about a little bit of like the history and things, but nothing super groundbreaking that we didn't already know from the first few. And that's fine. This far into a trilogy, I'm not necessarily expecting a ton of things, because obviously it's going to be kind of harder to wrap those things up or give us enough information if you're in the last book in the series. There are trigger warnings in here, like there are for every book in this series, for war, genocide, torture, rape, I want to say maybe suicide. I don't even have them all in front of me, because literally if you have a trigger, it's probably going to be in here. So just check out trigger warnings. This is very brutal, dark, based on some real historical events, even though this is not historical fiction, but it's tough. This less so than some of the other ones, maybe because I've just gotten used to it. The first two books definitely have some more, I would say, detailed things going on with like some of the war crimes and things, but it's still very much there. Next, I'm gonna talk about our characters. I would say that throughout this whole series, I felt very much at a distance from all the characters that really aren't like Rin. There's like a ton of other side characters. There's other side characters that are brought in this book that are new to us, and I just don't feel a deep connection to them. I don't necessarily, I said this with the second book too, I don't necessarily like feel and buy into some of the connections that Rin has with these characters, because we don't necessarily get to see that blossoming. At this point, I do understand and really love her and Kate's dynamic and friendship, but that's just because we've had it for all three books now, and you still don't get to see some of their quieter moments together, and I wish that we did. This book is just so, I mean, the whole series is just so much war focused, and sort of Rin's downfall into just like, is she gonna be a villain, is she not, that I don't necessarily feel like really immersed in the characters and who they are, and like the losses that happen with characters and things like that. I'm just not super invested. But I will say is in this book, you do get more of the like triumvirate, and that like, again, the three that were the historical three that ruled this land for a while, and I love them. And we're supposed to potentially be getting like a prequel book following them, and I do love them a lot. So that would be excellent. Lastly, I'm gonna talk about the plot. As far as the plot, I really loved the first half more than the second. The first half, I don't know, I was just really enjoying it. I was like, okay, I did like this book more than the second book in the series. But towards the end, it got a little bit closer to the second book in the series for me. It wasn't quite a leap ahead that I had hoped that it would be, because I really liked the first half. It just felt like there wasn't necessarily a ton of time. Like, so much happened that I almost felt like this could have been 2 books. I feel like the Poppy War could have been a quartet, because the first half of this book felt so tonally different than I would say the second half, and I think there were some things that we needed more time to sit with than we got, and I would have liked that, just like pacing wise and things. I think that would have been better. What this series continues to be is an excellent depiction of how war is, and how hopeless war is, and how war pretty much hurts everyone. That there's no winners, there's no real good guys or bad guys in this situation. Like, everyone has incredible darkness within them, and like, what does it mean to rule, and who should have power, and all of that is wrapped up in here, and that is what this series is about thematically. So that's always been done well. The end of this series also felt inevitable, but not quite satisfying. I think the very end of this book also was like very rushed feeling. There were some things that felt a little bit disjointed and didn't quite come together. Like it made sense, but it also didn't come together in a way that was, like I said, super satisfying, or that like just had a certain continuity to it, which again, I think if we had slightly more time, one more book, that would have been slightly more gradual and would have made more sense to me. But I will talk about these things more in detail in my discussion video, which I will link on the screen. I would give this, I think, between a 4 and a 4.5. I think as far as my rankings, Poppy War was a 5 stars for me. I loved it. It was my favorite of the series. Then this book was like a 4, 4.5, and then the second book was like a 4. Still a really amazing series, still highly recommend it. Obviously none of those are bad ratings, and I will continue to read what RF Kuang puts out. I'm gonna read Babel this month as well, so this is just gonna be like RF Kuang month, because this was her debut that she wrote when she was like 19, so she's going places. She has talent. So comment below, let me know what you thought of this book, and go on and check out the discussion if you want more information about my thoughts. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.